Welcome to this webinar about Struct PIM and ChatGPT. Today I'm joined by one of my favorite colleagues. It's Siwert from our PIM and Master Data team. Welcome, Siwert.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't say colleague, but a near friend of mine, Simon. I've known him for a couple of years, and we are more than happy to give you a short brief of what we have seen so far with ChatGPT and PIM. So basically what we are doing today is we will give you a short overview of ChatGPT and how Struct have integrated into to their solution. Simon will provide us with a nice demo. Looks very promising. And Siwert will also talk a bit about faster time to market, and hopefully we have some time to showcase one of the customers that we have been working with already. If you have any questions, I will encourage you to write them in the chat. I'll try to be the best moderator. I know there's a lot of people online, around 250, 60 people or something. So I'll try to do my best. But Siwert, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, let me just put a few words to ChatGPT, what it is and how we can use it for things like PIM. So ChatGPT is basically a text interface where you can chat with the GPT artificial intelligence. So you can ask it a question and it will provide you an answer. So I recommend people try it out for yourself. It's a really powerful technology. To me, it really works like a black box. It's fascinating and mysterious, but toying around with it, I've been able to generate some questions called prompts and get some really useful answers in the domain of PIM.
Exactly, and when you talk about that, Siwert, what would a strategy be for enhancing customer experience when it comes to ChatGPT?
Yeah, well, PIM is all about gathering the product information surrounding a product in a single database or system, really. So all the different information like certifications, documentation, tech spec, the name, the picture, everything goes into this data model, and that is then exposed to whoever looks at this product when they want to buy it, for example. And having the right information is really a key in a good customer experience. And the bar is often set quite high from the beginning of a commerce initiative. We want this really cool user experience. Then it turns out we're actually missing a lot of data. And inside of PIM, you then specify all the information you need, set up a workflow for getting it enriched. But then it often turns out it's actually a bottleneck because it's a huge workload to enrich all this different data. So that's where this AI-assisted workflow comes in, can help us really generate a product landing page with much richer information in a much more consistent way, and with a much faster time to market on the changes, enabling to keep up with trends and new products.
Great. Simon, I don't know if you're ready, but you have promised a live demo, and I know that can sometimes be a bit frightening. But I hope the demo guards are with us, and we can have a smooth demo. So if you don't mind, you can share your screen, and we can take a look at what you guys have been working on inside of Struct PIM.
Yes, thank you, Anders. I will do so. I'll just share my whole screen here. So hopefully you should be able to see a Struct PIM now. Can you confirm that, Anders?
Looks good.
Great. So far, so good. So what we're seeing here is Struct PIM, and at Struct we've always focused a lot on trying to create a very easy user interface to use to make these complex data that you need to have on your products as easy as possible to put in here. So looking at Struct PIM, we've also looked at how can we actually utilize these powerful features of ChatGPT and other AI tools that becomes more and more available as time goes by. If we look at Struct PIM, we have, of course, all our products in here. Looking at a product and how a product looks in Struct PIM, we have all sorts of information on that here, so we can have a name and all sorts of more technical information. For example, here we have a TV, so we have all sorts of technical information about that TV that needs to be put in here. Sometimes we have these informations and sometimes we don't. When we have the information like we do here, the next task that often it's very tedious to do and requires special competences to do, is to actually create engaging texts that actually explain these products in a nice way. And as the experiences that customers require, they differ a lot depending on the platform that they're on and depending on the type of customer that you're sort of trying to present your product for, whether it be a B2B customer or a B2C customer or something completely different. The requirements for text that are sort of engaging for that particular group of people just becomes bigger and bigger. And so creating these texts is very cumbersome. So
the context we're in here is the product has all of these different data fields filled out. Some of them are read-only. That's because they are sourced from other systems. Some of them are filled out here in Struct PIM. And what we have here, the long description, this is where it becomes a bit tedious to fill out, because then you need to look at all these informations and the product design and stuff and write an engaging description to use on the landing page. And as you say, it can be for all kinds of different contexts and user groups, customer groups.
Exactly, Siva. So that is one of the cases that we see very often. So people don't have the time to actually create good descriptions for their products, and that results in a less than perfect customer experience for the end users that are actually using your website or whatever channel they are engaging with you at. So when we look at Struct PIM, what we've done is that we've integrated ChatGPT here to help us do some of these tasks in here, so we can streamline the process and make sure that we become a lot more productive and can create a lot of these texts that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. If we see here, we've configured this setup that we're looking at right here to actually enable the AI assistant on the long description and short description here. The way that works is that in the actual setup of Struct PIM, we have all these attributes. And looking at these attributes, we can, for example, have a look at the long description attribute here. At an attribute like this one, we can enable the AI assistant here because we want the editors of the PIM system to be able to use the AI assistant for this particular attribute. And we can then configure this attribute to sort of set up a baseline or a template for how should this work. If we just enable ChatGPT for all the editors in the system and they could just ask any question for it and just do whatever they'd like, we would probably end up with texts that were very different depending on the actual editors that were using it. Some people might ask it to create a very engaging and fun text, whereas others might ask it to create a more professional sounding text. And that would be very different types of text for different products, and that would result in a somewhat not streamlined experience for the customers when they're viewing different products on your website or wherever they're seeing them.
So this is where you put together the question that is asked to ChatGPT to describe the product. And what you're saying is that you can actually construct this in a way so that you'll get a consistent way of describing products. You can specify the tone of voice, and if you had just let all the users use ChatGPT on their own, it would be much more difficult, requiring you to be a ChatGPT first mover superstar. But here you set it up once, and then you have everything in place for the editor to just generate a description using this pre-configured question for ChatGPT that will ensure the tone of voice and structure and so forth, length.
Exactly. So we ensure that we have the same tone of voice for all of our products in here, and we can ask it to act in the way that sort of fits with our company profile. So here, as you see, we've set it up to tell ChatGPT that it should write in a positive professional tone, but it shouldn't be afraid to use a modern tone as well. And then we ask it to create a customer or consumer-oriented product description with 3 paragraphs here. What we also do is that we need to tell ChatGPT something about the product for it to be able to generate a good product description. So what we're doing here is we're actually specifying the information on the product that we want to send to ChatGPT, so it knows what the product content is, so to speak, when it generates these texts. So this way we can sort of point to the actual attributes that are important to it to sort of consider when creating the texts.
Yeah, exactly. So here it will include all the different attributes that are relevant for generating the description, like the technical specifications you showed earlier. Exactly.
And what this results in is we can set up different commands here. So you see here I've set one up for the B2C to generate that. I also set one up for the B2B to generate that. And once that's configured in the attribute in Struct PIM, we can start actually using that on the products here.
Okay, because I can't wait anymore.
No, well, let's go and have a look at what it's actually about. So I know I have a MacBook in here, something we can all rely on or relate to here. When we look at this, we see we have the long description here, and we've enabled the AI assistant as we just saw. If I open this one up, I actually get access to the assistant within Struct PIM, which is powered by ChatGPT, and it asks me what I would like to help me with. So here I get the commands that we've created. So this is sort of the start of the conversation I can have with it. So I'll select that I want to create a B2C product description. And it then looks into the PIM system to find the information about the product. So it sees that we have all this technical information that we know about this product already. So I can choose to use this as it is, or I can choose to fine tune it if there's something I want to add to it, or there's something I want to remove. But for this case, we'll just choose that. We'll use the information we have in the PIM system as it is. And what happens now is that we're actually talking to ChatGPT to actually generate a product description for us based on the command that we saw before, so sort of the general tone of voice we want to have, and then the information that we see we have in the PIM system. And now it's produced that for me. So it's actually created a full product description, as you're seeing here, using the information that we have about the product. It's very beautifully integrated into the text, as we see here. It has 12 hours of operating time, battery, and so forth. So this is great. We are actually able to do this without much effort, and it's a very nice text most of the time, as we see. But say that I'm not completely satisfied with this. I know this is a computer that is very much famed for its design. So I wanted to refine this text. I want to write to it. So I like the text, but can you give me the same text with a bit more focus on the sleek design? I'll send that to it. And what it does now is it considers the text is already generated. It considers that we like that. So in all, it's good. But we want to have it just altering bits and parts of it to make it focus more on the things that are relevant in my perspective here. So that gives us, as an editor in the PIM system, the power to still be the people who moderate what we want to have. And as you see here, now it's changed the headlines. It's more aesthetic appeal meets functionality and so forth. So in this way, I can iterate with ChatGPT or with the AI assistant to actually generate a product description that fits exactly what we want to have and what we want to emphasize on this product. When I have the text and I'm satisfied with it, I can choose that I want to insert it in the long description here. And you see that it puts it into the long description out here. So now I've generated a beautifully sounding text here for my B2C customers. In Struct, we have the ability to actually build multiple dimensions into our descriptions and other fields. So what we've done here is that we've also set this one up to have a version that could be a B2B version. So looking at this, we don't have any B2B text, and this is where it becomes really interesting, because typically you wouldn't have the resources to create both B2C, B2B, and all these sort of customer-oriented texts here. But because we have the AI assistant now, maybe we would be able to actually do this. So I'll use it again. I'll say that this time I want to create a B2B description here, and I'll just use the information again. And now it uses a different sort of command to create one where we focus more on business values and how it worked well in a business-to-business situation. So it's working on creating that now. And what you will see in a moment when it gives us back a product description is that the focus is much more on the professional use of the product, whereas the consumer text is much more focused on other things. So as you see here, the headlines itself, impressive connectivity, features for business efficiency, and so forth. So it has sort of built a text that is much more suited for the B2B market than the B2C market. And now I can say I want to have that put in here. Great. So now I have a B2B and I have a B2C text created in just a few minutes here, which would take probably a long time for a person to do themselves here. So that's great. I've got that. Now I've created a product description here for my product. I could have other things I want to do. Maybe I'd actually want to create a short teaser description for my product, which I can use in other parts. We can also use the AI assistant to do that. So say I open the AI assistant here. I want to have it help me with generating a B2B teaser text from the product description. So this is again a command we've set up. So we're saying to the assistant then, okay, so now we have a long description for our product. Now we want to create a teaser description based on that one. So we're asking it to actually make a short summary of that, and we see now we're getting just a 3-line summary of the description, which we can use in a B2B context here. So this is also a way it can be used to actually work with the descriptions we already have to create moderations, which is suited for different purposes in here. So altogether, when we have this assistant available, we can do lots of things in here very quickly, which we would require quite a lot of time to do ourselves previously. Furthermore, it's not just a robot that gives some text and put it in here automatically. You actually have the ability as an editor to still put in your product knowledge in the text here, so you can iterate with the assistant to actually create just the text you want. You just don't have to be the copywriter yourself, but you can use your knowledge about your product to create just the product descriptions you want to have in here. So that is really one of the key benefits of ChatGPT and the integrations we've made here. As you see here, we've worked with one product, and say I have a lot of products that I want to do this with. We've actually enabled this feature on our whole data set. So in Struct, you can search pretty much anything in here. So I can select products here, and once I select products, I can do bulk actions for those. We have those up here. And here we've actually enabled the AI assistant as well. Because when I select this one, it looks into what kind of commands or what kind of assistants have we configured in the system, and it lists all of them here. So I can select any of them to actually generate text or do this command for all the products that I've selected here. So if I have a huge range of products that I need to do this with, I don't even have to go through them one by one. I can ask it to generate texts for 100 at a time and then just go and have a look at them. So I've cheated a bit actually because I did this beforehand. What it does when I actually ask the robot or the assistant to do this is that it creates a background task in here where it starts to process this. As you saw before, ChatGPT can use just a few seconds to actually generate these texts. And if you need to do that for a lot of products, it will take some time. Here, I've asked it to create text for 13 products. It's used 16 seconds to do so. That was actually quite fast. And once I've done that, I can click this one to actually see the results. So here we see the products that I selected. I wanted to have generated long descriptions for. And here at the right, we see the long descriptions that the AI assistant has created for us for each of these products. So I can now go through these individual products and say, okay, this one actually looks really good. I want to have that as it is. The next one, looking at that, that's also okay. But if I wanted to actually change this, I can open up the AI assistant over here again, and then I could sort of resume the conversation with it about this specific product. It would then know that I've already created this product text here, and then you can sort of start from that and say, okay, I want you to focus more on the connectivity of this laptop, just like I did before when we created the text for the MacBook. So I have the ability here again to iterate with the assistant to create just the product text I want to have in here. But here we're just doing it in a context of multiple products at a time. And then once I've gone through my products and created the product descriptions I want to have and accepted them here, I can save all of them at once here, and they actually then go into the products here. So I will be able to create engaging product description for a lot of products in a very simple process within the system like this. And this is only possible because we have the AI assistant on all these extremely powerful features of ChatGPT that we are actually utilizing here. So that's just a very brief overview of how we've worked with ChatGPT. So far, we're looking into many other places where we can use the power of it into the system here, but this is one of the cases that we wanted to show you today, how you could use it to generate product descriptions here. But there will be lots of other places in the PIM system that we will start to use this as well going forward.
Super cool. Simon, a couple of questions. What thoughts have gone into this integration with ChatGPT? Or, the business logic, I think that's super cool because then you kind of, limited the users to actually do what's best for the platform. But what other things, the bulk editing, do you have anything on the roadmap? And last but not least, when do you
Yes. Okay. So to start with the beginning, Anders, we actually had a lot of focus on the on ChatGPT not being a robot but being an assistant. So it's important for us to still that the editor is the man in power, so to speak. So they are the ones who knows about the product, so they should know what are the right text here. But the ChatGPT and the AI assistant becomes an assistant who can help them in the process. It's not the one doing it for them. So we wouldn't do an automatic integration which just went through all products, created all description, and saved them automatically to the products in here. We want to have that sort of review process where you can work with it. So that's something that's very important for us. And going forward, we're actually using to doing the opposite of what you saw right now. What you saw right now was creating engaging product descriptions from technical specifications of products. And we're actually looking into doing the opposite. So if you have sort of a free text describing the attributes of products, then pull those out of those free texts to put them into these specific fields in the PIM system here. So if you have some text from which has just been written somewhere, you can actually pull data from that and put that into the technical specifications. That's also something we're looking into here. But
yeah, because one of the big hurdles for editors out there is actually getting
exactly
clean data.
And we've done some proof of concepts here, and we can see there are some potential to do something here. So we're exploring that. But what you're seeing here, that's what we'll release first off, and that will be released here in April. So from April, it will be available to everyone. All Struct customers will be able to get access to this AI assistant to help them with their product descriptions.
So if they want to hear more, they can reach out
yes.
to you, and you can set up something cool. And I believe it comes with a small.
Yes, that's just a small thing there. We'll get to that.
Great. So do you have
well, this
like
makes me think of imagine having a stressful product launch. If you're launching a new range of products, the time to market is really essential. Typically, you have deadlines piling up, stuff that you thought was already filled out. You figure out, oh, we missed the B2B descriptions or something like that. I think once a company has tried doing a product launch using the AI assistant, imagining going back to not using it, it will be, they will not want to turn it off again. I think this will really enhance the the employee experience when enriching the products, resulting in a really great time to market and the shopping experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you up for a question? We got one here from Plantorama in Denmark. How about availability? Is the AI connected to ChatGPT website and sometimes can be used due to many people using the website? Will it affect the usage of input?
That's a great question because I think all of us who've played around with ChatGPT have seen how it sometimes is not available. We're not using the ChatGPT website. We're using an API that's been made available by the company behind ChatGPT called OpenAI. They've made an API which you can use, and you can create a paid account there. And those paid accounts put you sort of first in line. When we've been playing around with this, we haven't seen any downtimes. It's been working all the time, and it's because when we're using the free ChatGPT version ourselves in a private perspective, we're sort of last in line, whereas the professional users, just such like this one, they're first in line to actually get access to the system. So I don't think that will be a problem going forward.
Great. Cool. Thank you so much, Simon. Stuart, you would like to talk about one of our customers where we have done something similar.
At the Kaufmann, we went through a implementation using a workflow very much like this, enabling it. There was basically a lot of product descriptions not filled out, and setting up ChatGPT in a quick way, we were able to enrich, or Kaufmann together with this assistant, was able to enrich 85% of these descriptions quite fastly, which is was very well received and a result we're very proud of. And it's like you showed here, Simon. You basically generate the descriptions and then you validate them, and they discarded some of them. They haven't really dug into improving them, but it's a first easy win, and it's actually not that big of a deal to set it up time wise.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let me see any questions that pops into mind for you, Stuart, that you would like to ask Simon about. Otherwise,
I think this is an amazing plugin. I think this really elevates Struct PIM to a much higher level of efficiency. Being a marketeer working in this system, I'm really excited about it. It's an amazing plugin.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. It's no secret we're very proud of it as well, and we really do think that our clients will benefit a lot from using this. So we do have high expectations that it will really provide some value out there.
Yeah, and also I really like that it's simple to use, because with all this AI, it can get very advanced. But here you can configuring it, product group by product group. It's not that difficult. Testing it is you can do that with examples, and then you can roll it out to the whole organization. Basically, just click a button, you'll get the description. Once you've done that a few times, you will see it's well worth the small amount of getting used to this new button, because it really just gives you a draft that is many times just good enough.
Yes, exactly. And again, because it is an assistant, you don't need to be afraid of it, right? It's not like it's going to go in and start doing things with your data itself. It's just it's an assistant for you that will help you do these tasks that is time consuming to do yourself.
We have a question here from Anne. She's saying, thank you guys for a fantastic new thing, making life easier for copywriters and web shops and minimizing duplicate content. How do you make sure all the relevant keywords for SEO is included in the web copy so the products will rank well in Google?
Yeah, well, it's very much when you talk about using services like ChatGPT, you talk very much about what's called prompt engineering, and prompt engineering is actually the instruction you give to ChatGPT, and that's where you can actually do a lot of different things. So if you in the command that you send to ChatGPT, make sure that it knows about the SEO context, and you tell it should be aware to create and include these words in the SEO context. It will focus on that, and it will, in many cases, make sure it will do that. And if it isn't good enough at doing it, you can always use the iteration to actually ask it to do so. So if it produces a text which does not include all the words you want in the text for your SEO purposes, you can ask it to include that, so it will incorporate that in the text afterwards. So that's where the power of the editor comes in to actually help moderating the text that becomes the final version.
Great. And probably the last question here from Stian. He is asking, what about generating text for pictures? Have you looked into the Mid-Journey or stuff like that? So you can actually generate.
So generating pictures based on technical specifications or products as a whole. We haven't looked into that. We do have some ideas around doing it, but we don't have the use case as of yet. Typically, we use our clients as the basis for our ideas. So whenever we have clients who have some sort of use case for something, we use that to actually find out how can we then utilize these tools here. So if some clients come up with a use case where this would make sense, we would definitely explore that. But we don't have it right now in here.
All right. And Simon, I would encourage you to go in and read all the nice appreciations you guys got from all the attendees. There's a lot of nice comments, what you have achieved with the product. So go in there.
Oh, great. I'll do that.
On the back, it looks. All right, guys. Times are running up. Any questions before we close down?
No. Thank you for having me.
I can say, please go in and follow Impact on LinkedIn. We will share more about this, I'm pretty sure. You can also go into impactcommerce.com and subscribe to our newsletters. I know, Simon, we can go into your LinkedIn page as well, Struct PIM. and get the latest and greatest about the release.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
That was.